Hello guys, it's James and we're here for the round 5 betting tips. Man, it's been a rough week. It's been quite, I don't know. It's a rough patch because the back end of the week before and then last week and then the start this week, it's just can't catch a break at the moment. So thankfully we had that really good start at the back the first month or the first couple of rounds of the year to, I don't know, soften the blow a bit, but we've been here plenty of times where we'll have bad weeks. I mean, that's betting. That's the risk involved. Doesn't matter how much research you do. And trust me, I've been up till 1 in the morning, 2 at night, getting these ready, like really going through it. And it's like, doesn't matter how much study you do, and shit just still falls apart. Players are human. I'm human. Things will miss. That is the risk of betting. So yeah, just I thank you so much for all the support, liking the video, regardless of the wins. I hope you can still appreciate that the form guide that I post every week. So yes, I know my tips have been, rough at the moment, but I'm sticking by the process. You have ups, you have downs, but hopefully, it's slowly building up, as we can see here. Even though we've had a down week, the last week we had a down week. It's it's a small hit on the tally so far. So hopefully we can just turn it around. But yeah, we'll quickly go through the recaps because I always leave this to... I don't say I leave it too late. I was up last night till 2 in the morning trying to get this done, and then I wake up at 6:30 to finish this, but it's just how long it takes me to do this now because I really want to try and get it right. But we'll quickly review last week. So I don't want to waste time, but anyway, Collingwood just didn't look like to accumulate it or get their own footy without Nick Dacos. He was the laid out, so that really hurt Lipinski and Sidebottom. Probably should have bet on them in future because I think both of them hit last night, but the ball was down in the back line for Maynard a lot, so yeah, he was able to hit. Bet 2 hit, and we didn't have a bonus bet because the other 2 legs missed, so this one was just a win. Tom Myers just hit with right before, well, I was going to say with a couple of seconds to go, but he hit with 5 minutes to go, but it was before his last rotation, so that was very close. Quickly keep going. Bet 3 was the Adelaide Freo game. Jordan Clark I'll bet on again if he's at good odds. If he's over $1.20, I'll usually always take that. It's just an unlucky miss. And Luke Ryan was someone, because that's 2 weeks in a row, and it's just so annoying. This game almost put me off him because he was locking down on Tex. I'm like, okay, so he doesn't really want the ball. He doesn't want to switch. He doesn't want to get posies or anything like that. And then, of course, last night, yeah, it was last night, was it? He just absolutely pops off, racks it, 20 plus, 120 super coach. So Luke Ryan has been a bit of a roller coaster in previous years where he can put out, really low, I'm talking fantasy, super coach, 70 scores, 150, but, maybe I'm just not keen on betting on him that much recently, just with his high or erratic disposals. You can go from 10 posies to... what did he have last night? Yeah, last night he had 25. So yeah, that's wild. We'll see. I'd rather someone a bit more consistent. But anyway, so that one just missed. Bet 4 was the Richmond Port game. This is how I want the bets to go if they lose. So, I mean, I'll put my hand up and say the Ollie Wines one wasn't a great pick. He definitely had reduced minutes. I'm taking the time to go into and just really reassess players who are coming back, because Adam Chera in the Carlton game, it was his first game back and he was fine, and I did read reports that Carlton were keen to throw him straight back in the midfield, so that was good. Ollie Wines, I probably didn't foresee just the real amount of reduced minutes he had. Barely got on in the first quarter, so put my hand up for that one. But the other Richmond boys, Nick Vlosten isn't selling me this year. He's been a really good betting candidate in the past, but yeah, that's his second miss at the moment. So he's going 50%. Jack Ross, that's his first miss in ages, so I could definitely back him again. But yeah, if a bet is to miss, I'd much rather it be the whole bet falls apart. So instead of one miss by one posie. Going on to game 5, that was the West Coast Sydney game. And I did not expect James Jordan to go to Harley Reid. I did not expect Sydney to tag a bottom side when they're going to win by 100 plus points. So that one's super annoying. But we'll have to be considerate for all West Coast games going forward, I guess, if Harley Reid's starting to actually cop attention. So something to bear in mind. And that's the thing that we have with all these losses. It's worth reviewing them and actually trying to learn something from them. So, you know, you try and limit the mistakes next time. Liam Baker, I can see as an actual miss. West Coast barely got their hands on the footy. So I think Sydney won the disposal count by like, I don't know, 100 or something. So it was, oh geez, they won it by like 150. Yeah, okay. So yeah, Liam Baker, I can see having a quiet game. He's barely going to have the opportunity to get the footy. So I'll happily back him again. And then I think there was there's 3 more games. That's right. It was the long weekend. So bet 6, Mac Andrew. I thought Gold Coast were going to beat Melbourne quite comfortably. And that was going to lead to Mac Andrew sort of maybe playing a bit more off his man, having a bit more opportunities, but the game was on Melbourne's terms for a lot of it. So Mac had to play more of shutdown defender, which he usually does anyway, but the way Gold Coast are playing, he's got a bit more freedom to just provide an outlet or, you know, take an intercept mark or switch the play, run up the ground. But yeah, really had to stay down in defense. And Will Powell, that's probably maybe the last week I'll bet on him, or we'll see. We'll see what odds we can get, but he didn't just miss because Rao was back in the midfield, but just didn't look near it. As Melbourne, like Jack Steele and Cozzy Pickett had like amazing games, and Will Powell just, he could have easily hit for this one, but I knew this going forward that he would still have midfield minutes for this one, but also I think it was like Will Graham or someone got a fair bit of CBAs for Gold Coast in that game. So yeah, Will Graham had 55%. Will Powell dropped to 42%. Again, and I knew that risk going into it. I still think he could have hit, but yeah, just it wasn't Gold Coast day. So yeah, so going forward, I probably wouldn't bet on Will Powell. Bet 7, this one hit, and we didn't have a bonus bet to go into it. So you can see over there, no bonus bets actually won, even though we only won the 2 bets, but this one was great. I was really happy with the Joel Frazier pick, and a lot of the doggies picked because this was going to be one-way traffic. So doggies absolutely dominated, well, for the first half anyway, and then Essendon were putting up a fight. I was hoping dogs would win by like 150, but not to be. Let's go to the last one. Hawthorn. Oh, fuck. Ollie Dempsey shit me off so much. So he was playing so deep in the forward line in the first half of the in the first half of the last quarter, he pushed up the ground. He got like 4 posies real quick. He was actually helping the team. And then the last half of that last quarter, he's the deepest player. He's a winger who's just constantly in the square. Like, just get up the ground and help. And then Hawthorn transition the footy, get it through the Boom Boys and Connor McDonald, Dylan Moore. I'm like, that's your wing, Dempsey. That's where you should be instead of trying to take Mark of the Year. So that is a risk with Dempsey. He can go forward a lot, and it's not just because Dangerfield's out. He does that. He does kick goals. So yeah, that one is just an annoying miss. I'd still bet on Dempsey after that, despite how frustrating it was. But especially when I had good picks like Impey, I thought Impey was just going to come out the gates while Amon was out. And yeah, these are the bets that fucking suck. Like, I'd much rather that Richmond Port miss where 3 legs miss. These are the ones that absolutely suck, where you nail a lot of other things and then someone like really consistent just doesn't hit in the end. So anyway, that's the quick recap. Just had to cut something out because I went to the wrong screen. Let's move into round 5, the betting tips, which is, well, we've already done the first 2. So we're at game 3, which is North Melbourne versus Brisbane. I'm not going to speak about this in depth because I'd rather get the video out. But in short, because when I talk about this for half an hour, no one's going to listen to this little recap when the video gets uploaded right before the game. So we'll fly through it. Berry and Bailey for 16, Fletcher for 18, Caleb Daniel for 20, and Sheasel for 25. The odds are pretty good for this one. They're updated this morning. Well, I had to redo this bet because they changed again. So anyway, this is the most recent odds. Harry Sheasel for 25. Brisbane usually give up a lot of footy to high accumulators. They've done it with like Nick Dacos, like Wanganeen Miller. Yeah, Sheasel, you can see there, he got 29-35 in the past games against Brisbane. I think Sheasel's a great chance. Coming off, he had an awful first quarter last week, and aside from that, he started the year really strong, so I can easily see him bouncing back. Caleb Daniel, we were worried about that forward experiment 2 weeks ago. It was awful for the first half of footy, and they threw him back in the back line since then, so Caleb Daniel, even with McKercher and Luke Parker, I'm still really keen. Like, if he can't play anywhere else and he's still getting games, his main job is taking kickouts, being a distributor, being an option. I think Caleb Daniel for 20 where the ball, I think Brisbane's mid should win this one. But yeah, I think Caleb Daniel's a very good chance, despite his miss in his last 2. That miss there was actually when he was with the Doggies, so he did get 18 last year against him, but otherwise he's only had 2 misses since going to North Melbourne. So I really rate Caleb Daniel now that he's back in the back line. Jasper Fletcher, just absolute class, great young kid. So I reckon, even though I think Brisbane will win this comfortably, I still think there's an opportunity for Zorko. I'm really bullish on Kitty Coleman, Darcy Wilmot, Jasper Fletcher. I think there's a couple of good candidates, even though North Melbourne might not have as many inside 50s. Well, their midfield's actually pretty good, so they still can. But I think these players can also push up, leave their man, and kind of play the game on their own terms, rack up a lot of footy. So yeah, really like Jasper Fletcher for this one. Super consistent. Yeah, he's had, 3 misses last year. He's had 1 miss by 17 posies in that, I think that was the St Kilda game. So yeah, really rate Jasper Fletcher. Zach Bailey, this is the best odds we've had for him in a while. He's usually in the 18 plus posi bracket now, but he dropped to the 16 posi bracket and I'm jumping on board. He's had 5 misses since last year. He's hit both games against North Melbourne. He's a hybrid, like sort of half forward. He'll come in and do some CBAs, be on ball. This is like the perfect role you want to be in for a team likely to win by 40 plus points. So yeah, Zach Bailey fits the mold great for this game. Jared Berry, 16 plus. He has tagged Heaney, and I think that was his 12 posi game. He tagged Wanganeen Millera, 31, crazy enough. But now Hugh McCluggage is back, so I don't see the need for Jared Berry to tag, especially against North. Worst case, if he does, I still think he's going to hit. I don't reckon he will, but I think he's going back to the wing in his usual spot because Brisbane haven't run a tag in ages except to start this year. And I think they only did it in the Sydney game because McCluggage was out, because they thought they were going to lose, and they did, like, pretty badly. So I think now that they're in a position to win and play their own game, Jared Berry's not going to tag. So that's the summary of the picks. I'm going to quickly scroll down in case you guys want to select any, but I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them, although Charlie Cameron for 10 there is quite tempting, especially in a one-sided game. George Wardlaw, extremely tempting, even with his low minutes. So remember, anything with the red square is game time 65% or less. So George Wardlaw, he's going to be slowly building that engine back up. He won't have crazy game time, like he'll probably have 70%, like just enough to get rid of the red box, but yeah, he's still hitting. And it's only 14 posies for someone who's going to be playing mostly on ball. And if the weather's not great, it suits George Wardlaw pretty well. 15 posies, I mean, I should be highlighting George Wardlaw. If I'm keen for him for 14 there, he should make the cut for 15. 16 plus, I was very bullish on Kitty Coleman. Really bullish. I think just Jasper Fletcher, just a bit more experience of late. Really playing off halfback well. I think he's just class. Kitty Coleman plays he hasn't missed since his injury. So yeah, he's been fantastic, Kitty. Really, really rate the pick. It was almost a toss of the coin. I just have gone Fletcher just for the games in the bank of late. Zach Bailey, Dylan Stevens, playing on the wing. He's absolutely racking up a lot of the footy. So I don't see anything wrong with this pick. Maybe just if it is a bit too sloppy. We've noticed wingmen struggle to get the footy. Matt Johnson last night. But I think it's not going to be as heavy rain. We've quickly checked, but it's going to be 20% chance when the game starts, and then it just gets better from there. So yeah, it's not going to be as heavy rain apparently. So, God, those rain games suck. Anyway, 18 posies. Tom Powell, yeah, I also like, especially coming off an 18. I think that's pretty low for him at the moment, so I think he can go back into the 20s. Wilmot, Fletcher, Berry, spoken about. Daniel, yeah, I like Luke Parker. Luke Parker in the back line for North Melbourne has been a great role change. Josh Dunkley, I was very bullish on if the weather was going to get really out of hand and absolutely bucket down. I'm still bullish on him because, someone who's real contested around stoppages, I think this absolutely suits his mold, his gameplay style. So yeah, Josh Dunkley, very keen on. Colby McKercher, I've highlighted. He's back in that role, that high accumulator role. I just want to see it for a little bit more. We've seen it before, but we also saw him last week just completely drop off after halftime. I can't remember how many positives he got at quarter time or at halftime, but it was like maybe, let's say, like 18 or something. It was a lot, and then just completely dropped off. So just need to see it a bit more, because he is a real high ceiling hype pick. So yeah, bullish on him, but it's just the consistency. So and that's to start this year. He did really well last year, but I just want to see a bit more of it at the moment. Will Ashcroft, there's no Finn O'Sullivan, so I think Will Ashcroft can do what he wants. Harry Sheasel is, well, I've spoken about. I think he can get a lot of footy. Dane Zorko, he's someone I was very tempted to include. So obviously I can't go Kitty Coleman, Jasper Fletcher, Dane Zorko. My pick was Jasper Fletcher. I liked the 18 posies as opposed to the 25. I liked just Jasper Fletcher's like just nice, sort of clean cut, strong marking, takes kickouts. I think he just fits everything. Dane Zorko, but I do like, though, very aggressive. And I think in a game where Brisbane are just going to absolutely slingshot the footy and just try and win by a lot, I think it suits Dane Zorko pretty well. Anyway, so yeah, I've already yapped on long enough about this. I need to get to the next game so I can get the video out. So anyway, that's the Brisbane North game. Let's go to the Essendon Melbourne. Here we go. Essendon Melbourne. So Xavier Lindsay for 15, Jai Caldwell and Max Gawn for 18 plus, Jack Steele and Christian Salem for 20 plus. So I actually, look, Xavier Lindsay looks really bad here, but if you just look at how he started the season, he's had one miss by 14 posies. He's averaging 16.5. And the key thing that I really like about him, there's no, well, we knew there was no Bowie, there was no May, but what keeps happening is now there's no Rivers. So Xavier Lindsay is taking the second most kickouts behind Christian Salem. I still think, so he's in a really good spot to get the footy. So Essendon have a pretty good mid. They'll get some inside 50s. They win all the, I think they're just a bit inexperienced. They'll bomb it long. That gives, I've also got Christian Salem. So I've got two of the Melbourne backline players. So yeah, I just really think it'll be a good rebound game for both of them. I think Essendon will still score all right. They showed against the Doggies game that they're not completely out of it, even though the start to the year hasn't been great. They still have it in them to still put up a decent score. So I think Melbourne's team, yeah, I think the backline players there for Melbourne would be great. Jack Steele started the year amazingly. So for Melbourne, just new lease on life. He's $1.19, just scraping in for a price that I like. So I'll keep Jack Steele for now. Max Gawn, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of bullish on for 20, but gone for 18 plus because, you know, the weather, got to factor that in. It might be light showers and then clear from then on and cloudy. So we've seen it last night, though, in the slop. Darcy Cameron hit his posse bracket when he was in the ruck. Luke Jackson, even Lachlan McAndrew hit his posse bracket of 10. I think Mark Pitney got 16. So even in this absolute slop, the ruckmen are still hitting, and it's not going to be as bad weather apparently today. So yeah, Max Gawn for 18 I like against Lockie Blackiston. So I have thought about it. I've definitely taken it into consideration, but I think it's not going to be a heavy slog downpour. Even still, Max Gawn can get a lot of the footy from stoppages. He's not just reliant on marks down the line. So yeah, I still think Max Gawn around stoppages, if he's not absolutely spiking it, he's every chance to still push his opponent out and get a posse from the ruck. And Jai Caldwell, an Essendon mid, doesn't have the best time on ground. Well, it's above 65%. But yeah, 18 plus for someone who I think is going to be around the footy, and the conditions can suit him. A bit greasy footy. I know we've all seen that footage of him missing the handball, but that's not going to happen again. So I think Jai Caldwell for 18 plus is actually really good. He's only missed twice since last year. So yeah, really rate that one. Let's go through the rest of them. No one for goal scorers I really like. So, and it's been on screen enough. So we'll scroll down to the 10 posse bracket. Peter Wright, Jacob Van Rooyen. Oh, I can't believe I bet on him when he had this 5 posse game. It's literally how it is. So like, I'm pretty sure he was the only leg to miss that time too. All hits, I bet on him. He shits out of 5 and then he gets 14. So that's just how it is sometimes. But against Essendon, who's going to be on him? Ridley or Reed? So I think Van Rooyen is every chance. Peter Wright, I'm not that bullish on. I've just highlighted him just because the stats are, he's 8 out of 10. He only misses around 4 times each year. He's had 1 miss this year. So yeah, I think he's a decent chance, but not bullish on. 12 posies, no one there. 14, Xavier Dersmer I'm liking a bit more now, but he's lost value. So when I was doing this morning, he was actually good value for 14 plus, but he's gone down to $1.16. Now that he's back on the wing, that 12 posies was when he was in the forward line. Is Braden Fiorini still out of the side? Yeah, he is. So yeah, I really like Xavier Dersmer on the wing. Highlighted him here for the 15 too, but same with Lindsay. I'd much rather go Lindsay just for his role at the moment. 16 plus, no one here that I'm that keen on. 18, Darcy Parish, I was tempted to include, but just not enough value, so I'd much rather go Caldwell. Darcy Parish, I know, has had a couple of 19 posi games in a row, but that's been his low. Essendon have been getting smacked. I feel like maybe they've just got a better chance against Melbourne, and Darcy Parish to get one more posi, or for 20 plus here, I think is pretty good. Max Gawn I've spoken about. Sam Durham usually has games like this. He'll have a 11, a 12, a 13 posi game, and then bounce back and have a 27, or then bounce back and have a 23. I really rate the bounce back material, because Sam Durham has shown in the past that he does have these low posi games. If he goes half forward, fucks around, does nothing, but he tries, he tackles hard, he gets the footy. So yeah, I rate him to bounce back. Jordan Ridley highlighted, but I'm not that keen on for his first game back. Yeah, he's played 8 games since last year. Let's see how he goes. I think, he'll take some kickouts, ease him back into the game, but I don't think he's going to be absolutely just tearing the house down, but we'll see. So highlighted, but I'm not personally keen on betting. Jack Steele I've highlighted. Cozzy Pickett I'm actually keen on. I didn't highlight him. He's only missed, so he's missed 1 by 1 posi. He's got there 4. He is very electric. This could be a game, because Essendon don't usually have a tagger. I mean, Durham might be on him occasionally. I have these little notes here just to remind myself about tagging. I'm trying to develop this betting guide, so I take in consideration the weather, the taggers. It's just all trying to learn from these losses. That's why I do all these reviews. Yeah, Cozzy Pickett I actually do highlight, even though his form, he can explode. So we'll highlight Cozzy Pickett, but Christian Salem, 10 out of 10, taking kickouts. Yeah, I think he'll be a good pick. McGrath highlighted, but again, just a little bit worried, just because these posies here are when he was in the midfield last year. And like these ones are when he's back at Essendon, in the back line. Back at Essendon. Back in the back line, but he's just getting over 20, and now Ridley's back. I don't think it's the absolute end of McGrath there for the 20 posi bracket, but just take it in consideration that I think this is a bit inflated. Parish, spoke about Gawn. Archie Roberts, after we bet on him for the first game and he did that miraculous 2 touches in 20 seconds, he has been fantastic. So I've got him in my classic. I was really keen on him this year. Sorry, I'm just going to turn on the AC because it just turned off. Jack Steele, I'm keen on for 20, so I could easily go 22. But yeah, 25. I thought about Archie Roberts, but I could highlight. I did think about it. Could highlight. Zach Merritt will likely have Tholstrup on him. Forget his first name. It starts with K. But yeah, he's tagged in every game this year, so just beware of the Tholstrup tag for that one. Otherwise, no one else for 30 or anything that I'm keen on, and fan footy I've really stopped paying attention about, so no good value was emerging. I mean, yeah, Jai Caldwell there. I mean, that is funny I say that, but that's actually not too bad. But I've gone on him for disposals. That's actually not one. Usually you get no good picks from fan footy, but there's one. But anyway, so let's go on to the next game, which is game 5, which is Sydney versus Gold Coast. This one is actually kind of a little bit top heavy, but you'll see there's not many other options that I'm keen on or that present good value at all. So we've gone Blakey for 18 and then 4 players for 20. Took Miller, Isaac Heaney, John Noble, Callum Mills. So yeah, we've gone the 2 Sydney halfbacks. I know Riley Bice is there too, but these guys are still hitting. Well, Callum Mills missed by 2 last week. John Noble, Gold Coast back. Isaac Heaney, Sydney mid and forward. Took Miller, hybrid, high forward, on ball and stuff. Not going to be on ball as much now, especially Rouse back. But Took Miller is a great runner, so he's got every chance to get around the ground. Nick Blakey for 18 is, for $1.20, is too crazy to ignore. I think he's the one with the license to, run and carry, take the footy, take a couple of chances. yeah, I really like Nick Blakey. For 20, I was kind of on the fence, but he was good value for 18, so I got to take that. Took Miller, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm not expecting him to have like any CBAs. Oh, he's averaging 20% for the year. A couple is better than none, but yeah, he really makes up for it with his hard running. The amount of like, you know, on the couch Fox Footy vision we've seen of him absolutely beating his man from the defensive 50, and then before you know it, he's the one doing an inside forward 50 kick because he just worked his man over a 100-meter sprint. So yeah, really rate Took Miller, and especially for the price. He's only missed once since last year. That's crazy. Isaac Heaney, he's had one genuine miss this year. The 16 is included because when he got concussed and got that knee to the head from Ollie Florent, it was over 65% game time. So, I mean, if you scrub that, he hasn't missed this year. Yes, he had a great game against West Coast. It's not going to be that easy, but I still think Isaac Heaney is their leading CBA attendance. Sydney, yeah, he still is. So averaging 66%. Yeah, I think Isaac Heaney is just the player, the man for Sydney. So 20 is very achievable. John Noble, he is the halfback pig. He loves taking kickouts, although Bodie Euland has stepped up this year and he seems to be the one taking more kickouts. Regardless, John Noble is hungry for like any disposal he can get. He will make space on the other side of the ground. He will look for handball receives, which I love. Handball receives are the absolute best, because when you see one of the ruckmen get it, or you know, one of the big full forwards and then a bit timid, don't know where to kick, Johnny Noble is running up the ground to get that footy. So I love that. And Callum Mills, he has missed twice last year and he's missed once this year. Coming off a miss, I'm happy to jump back onto him, and he's at very good odds. So anyway, that's the pick for here. Goal scorers, Isaac Heaney, I was on the fence. Do I go him for a goal instead of posies? Because we've gone pretty top heavy. There's 4 players we've got for 20 plus. Maybe a goal in this case isn't such a bad idea to, you know, give ourselves a bit of variation. But I still think Isaac Heaney for 20 is safer than a goal. He's missed 5 times last year. He's 4 goals last week against West Coast. Got to remember that. But yeah, I still think he's a very solid pick. Very solid. I was tempted to include him. Ben King for 2. He's had very easy opponents to start the year, so now he's going up against Sydney. I'm not highlighting, like, he's kicked 5 against them last time, and 2 after that performance against Melbourne. He still kicked 3, but I mean, the stats are very hard to ignore. So like, I'll highlight, but I'm not that bullish on him. But yeah. 10 and 12 disposal getters. No one here that I really like. I mean, Charlie Ballard started okay. Hasn't missed this year. Charlie Curnow, very underwhelming. 10 posies against West Coast and kicked a couple. So if he's doing that against West Coast, what's he going to do against Gold Coast? Probably not get much, but we'll see. 12 posies. No one else. You can already kind of see here, there's barely any players to pick from. In the 14 bracket, I mean, Will Powell, I'm having to rely on him, but I knew this drop-off was going to be coming where he's going to be getting less midfield time. Probably still get some, right? He's not going to do the whole pre-season and start the year playing midfield and then go to absolutely nothing. He's not going to just get thrown back into the back pocket. So, especially while Ballard's back there too now, so he's kind of going to be doing a bit of a mix, but that hurts his disposals. So, I don't fully write him off, but I'm just less keen. Mac Angel, I'm keen for the bounce back, but I'd much rather go him against an easier team. I know it's weird going a defender against the easy team, but that's where he usually will come off his man and just do what he wants. 15 posies. Dan Rioli, I can see him having a good running halfback game. Jai Sarong hasn't missed this year and has been looking great since he's gone to Sydney, averaging 20 and a half posies. I was very keen on this. Very keen on Jai Sarong. I think I've just gone the safer names, the more experienced blokes, but we've definitely seen Jai Sarong have a great start to the year. Coming off 27 posies, he's probably not going to do that again. He's probably going to get the high teens. So even with that in mind, I still like the pick. Matt Roberts, every time I bet on this bloke, he misses. But otherwise, like, he's usually pretty consistent. We'll have a mix of mostly wing coming in the half-back line. So, but yeah, mostly on the wing there, rotating with Sarong or Jake Lloyd. So I like Matt Roberts, but he doesn't like me. Will Powell, yeah, we've spoken about. I think he's going to fall off a bit. Bodie Euland, his role like role change, but he's just gone. He's been one of those quiet, reliable, strong defenders who doesn't need to worry about accumulating, but he's leading the kickouts for Gold Coast at the moment. There's definitely been clear instruction this year from Damien Hardwick that he wants the ball a bit more in Bodie Yulin's hands, because he's not just getting the most kickouts. He's getting the most kickouts, but he's getting the most kickouts by 6 more than Johnny Noble. And that's actually a fair bit in the first month of footy, when John Noble is usually such a halfback kick-out pig. So yeah, for Bodie Yulin to be getting that many, yeah, the role is definitely there at the moment. Jake Lloyd on the wing, I bet on him when he got 8 posies. Dude, what is it with when I bet on players? They just absolutely shit the bed. Anyway, as soon as I stop betting on him, he's got 2 19s in a row. So yeah, I like Jake Lloyd, but as soon as I put money on him, he turns into a pumpkin. 18 posies, Callum Mills, Nick Blakey, Bodie Yuland. Again, I like Yuland, but it's so hard to pass up Nick Blakey, who I know if there's a ball going lasso or last touch or out of bounds behind, Nick Blakey wants that. He wants the handball received too. So he's a player that is shown is very hungry for the footy, whereas Yuland, we're just starting to see. So anyway, Callum Mills, I like, but just not quite enough value. So yeah, you can see here there's a lot of good picks from the 20. So yes, we've gone very 20 heavy. We've gone top heavy, but you know, we could have gone even harder, because I like Justin McInerney, I like Chad Warner, Riley Bice, I like as well. It's $1.19 for 18 plus. I don't mind the pick, but obviously we can't go Mills, Blakey, and then Bice. Yeah, and Matty Rao, it's his first game, or second game back. His first game, limited minutes. He still had high CBA attendances. Look to, you know, just give him maybe like a couple of weeks to get used to the new speed of play. And also he's a contested ball, you know, magnet. So with less contested footy and stoppages, it might hurt him a bit. I'm definitely keen to just waiting to see what happens with Matty Rao. And Noah Anderson is going to have James Jordan tag him. He hasn't hit against Sydney in his last couple of games. So yeah, I'm just not even going to highlight because I don't like the risk there. If James Jordan's tagging Harley Reid in a game where they're winning by 120 points, he's definitely going to be tagging Noah Anderson. Yep, and then the high posi brackets, and no one else I really like from here. Fan footy, have a quick little scroll if you want to pause. Go for it, but it's not really a market I'm in. I might even stop doing it soon. Oh, fuck, yeah. Someone did say I should include the lines. I'll do that in a sec. It's not part of the usual routine at the moment. Anyway, the last game for Game 6 is Bulldogs versus Hawthorn. This one we've got, you know, a better spread. We've got Lockie Bramwell for 14, who is just too hard to ignore at the moment. I haven't been that keen on Bramwell just because he's you know, obviously not a part of that half-back sort of setup anymore. You know, there's Bailey Dale, Connor Butterick, and Lockie Bramwell's kind of a mix just on the wing, providing a bit of an outlet. Might help in defense a bit there too. But man, the stats, I can't pass that up. He's missed once since last year. He's hit every time against Hawthorn. Yeah, I just can't say no to that. Even though I'm not as bullish on him, I'm kind of a bit more bullish on like a James Sicily for 20 or Connor McDonald for 18, but I can't say no to that. It's too good. Bailey Williams is just good value in the 16 posi bracket. He started the year great, averaging 21 posies. So he's averaging 5 more than what we're asking for, which is great. Good role, high half forward, wing. He can play everywhere, but yeah, I like the pick. Connor Nash, not as many posies as I'd like against the Geelong game, but he's still, you know, around the footy a lot. You can get it. Connor Nash does this every week, so very consistent. Always going to pick if he's good value. Jack Ginnivan, look, he can have a game where he shits out an 8 posies. We even saw it, 3 weeks ago, where he had, was it like 2 posies at halftime or 4? It was something so low, and then he just came out and had 20 plus after halftime. So yeah, Jack Ginnivan can be a roller coaster, but it's one I'm going to jump on board for this week. Yeah, I think he's every chance. 9 out of 10. He's hit every game this year. 19.5 posi average. Yeah, too hard to say no. Especially when we'll go through and see other picks. But yeah, Jack Ginnivan, probably the riskiest one out of them. But his last 10 games, his last month form has been fantastic. So we've also seen him usually be a high half forward. But you know, there are a dime a dozen there at Hawthorn with Dylan Moore, Connor McDonald, Nick Watson, and we've seen Jack Ginnivan play a bit more wing. taking the free space. So yeah, I think him at Hawthorn with his role at the moment is, yeah, too hard to ignore. And Jai Newcomb, the best accumulator there for Hawthorn, I think 22 is really good. It's not 25. I'd like 22 for him. So averaging 26 for the year. Bit less consistent last year. He was going through a bit of that where he was sub and then just not playing well. But yeah, this year he's looking really good. For goals, I like Marcus Bontempelli. We've seen in close game. Look, even in I'll finish my first thought. In close games, Marcus Bontempelli's gone up in the forward line, and they'll rely on Ed Richards, Matt Kennedy to get the footy. So Marcus Bontempelli, I feel like, will be playing forward a bit for this one, especially when the game's close. And even we've seen where the game's been a blowout, he's still kicked a goal. So he kicked one against Essendon, but then, yeah, he'll kick like 3 against Brisbane. So I feel like the better the competition, the more chance he is to kick a goal. Gunston, Darcy and Norton, obviously not all 3, but man, they are a couple of good selections for multiple goal scorer. I really like Aaron Norton. His last 3 months or 3 months have been phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Jack Gunston, obviously 2, but Sam Darcy's the one I probably like the least. If I was picking, it'd probably be, well, Hawthorn have a decent back line with, Barras, Battle, Sicily. I think Scrimshaw's out. I don't have the teams next to me. I should. I'm just yapping because I need to get this video done. Anyway, I like probably Norton, Gunston, then Darcy. But yeah. 10 disposals. No one here that I like. 12. Same deal. No one here I really like for good value. How is Selwood? $1.25. Anyway. 14. Blake Hardwick in the All-Australian. This All-Australian. The Vic All-Stars game. Whatever it was, State of Origin. So he started all right, not that keen on, but highlighted. But yeah, Bramall, also someone, ironically, I'm not that keen on, but it's just too hard to pass up. 1 miss since last year. Yep. Anyway, no one else in the 14. 15 plus, Josh Battle, just not quite enough value. And actually, if we go to him for the 16 plus, he could have hit 16 plus because he had a kick after the siren and he fucking played on. So yes, our bet did miss last week because of Dempsey, but I was actually keen to bet on Battle. And he's that 1 posi off because he swung around the mark. It wasn't even really captured on camera. It's just what the commentators said. So Battle, I think, can still hit, even though he'll probably have to help out with Darcy and Norton setup. Connor Nash, Ginnivan Williams, we've all included. D'Ambrosio, I'm keen, but I think last week was the time to bounce on him, or the week before. I've kind of missed the boat on him, and I know he has a miss in him every now and then, so yeah, I'm happy to kind of just wait. 18 plus, Dylan Moore and Connor McDonald, the Boom Boys. I like them both. Connor McDonald has really shown this year that midfield, his CBAs are still decent. Did they drop off last week? Oh, okay. So he's only averaging 25%. Fine, but he's not being stuck in the forward pocket. So my concern was Watson, or he got tagged last week, was actually just going to, well, they seem to be getting around the same. 25 for Connor McDonald and 18 for Wizard Watson. My concern was, sorry, I'm saying sentences in my head and not finishing, was that Nick Watson had more spark, more electricity. They're going to throw him up the ground more and it might impact Connor McDonald, but no, he seems to be fine. 20 disposals, Bailey Dale, look, very close to the price I want, but already my odds are at $3, so I couldn't really go anyone lower, even though I do like the pick, but he doesn't seem to have that crazy ceiling anymore. Well, I'm just saying that now because with Butterick in the side, he's gone 19, 23, 20, 22. He's averaging just 21 posies to start the year instead of 27 that we've seen last year. So yes, I'm keen on Dale, but am I going to take someone at $1.19 where I think they're going to only get 1 or 2 posies more than the bracket? Probably not. So like him, but we've just seen him have a decent disposal decline. And yes, he started the year, I think with no practice game and a bit, just getting the tank back up. But yeah, with Butterick in the back line there, it's just not selling me as much. Josh Ward, very, very tempted to include, but Jai Newcomb, just with the, the name, the presence, the reliability, the big factor there, I like Newcomb more. But Josh Ward, someone I could have easily included. James Sicily has started the year really good. He was a bit quiet last week in the Geelong game, but I think, yeah, he can bounce back or keep the same, keep it up. I was tempted to include him instead of Lockie Bramall, but yeah, like I said, I keep saying with Lockie Bramall, it's just too hard to pass up. So I'm bullish on Sicily this year. Connor Butterick, kind of the same thing as Bailey Dale, kind of averaging just over what I need, but I'm not. I mean, I'm more bullish on Bailey Dale, but yeah, Butterick's just pinching too many of his posies. Riley Sanders I like, but not enough now that Edridge is back. And Riley Sanders can get thrown onto the wing. He can get low time on ground. So just, I don't know. Just, I need to see Riley Sanders playing a decent role for a while. Not to mention they've still got Treloar to come back and Tom Liberatore. I don't know. Not a huge, I know they're not playing this week, but Riley Sanders is just struggling to find. If he somehow makes good value for like 15 posies one day, then I'll bet on him, but not for 20. Joel Frazier has started great. His time on ground is actually really good. He's getting like almost 90% average this year. So Ed Richards is back. Doesn't fully worry me because he still hit when Ed Richards was in the team. So he might not get 25 plus posies, but I think he's every chance for 20 plus. Carl Amon's back. He missed last week and he's coming back off an injury, so I'm not that keen on. I kind of just more highlight. Oh yeah, to remind myself. So yeah, Carl Amon will be the main distributor off half back. And I'm not highlighting Impey. Last week was the week for Impey for me. I think he's going to be more high teens, but not the 26 plus. It was his milestone game, and no Amon. So yeah, Jarman Impey was that run carry player. He can probably still do it this week while Amon's warming up, but yeah, don't like it nearly as much now. 22 plus, Kennedy, Newcomb, Richards, all good chances. Kennedy, I wish he had more value. Newcomb is the one I've selected there, and Ed Richards, I like Ed Richards, maybe just a week or two more on the park, and then I'll be more bullish and jumping on him, if he's still good value. But he's one who can drop to below $1.20. So, 25 plus, Bond, yeah, I like he's in crazy good Brownlow form, but I feel like for these close games, it's going to be more of a what happened in Brisbane, where he'll get low 20s and have to go help in the forward line a bit. Not help, I mean, there's Darcy and Norton, but I just think he's just such a good, versatile, strong-bodied, ball-winning midfield who can win it from packs and kick goals and win you the game. So, of course, Beveridge is probably going to want him to win the game instead of get, 30-plus touches. So, I like Bont, but you just got to be careful of how he goes against his opposition. And 30-plus, no one I'm that keen on. And Fantasy, I'll quickly scroll down. But yes, this is great timing. By the time I finish this video, so I'll just recap. I'll do a little segment here to remind you guys. The Sunday bets will be in the YouTube comments below. You will find them. This is an old snip, but in the video, you'll find them in the comments. I hope that's been working out well, where you can see the Google Sheets. It gives me time, so I don't have to quickly cram all this in on a Saturday morning. Like, I'm already waking up at 6:30. After, like, it's hard enough to get the Saturday games right, and I really want to take the time to just go through it, iron out, make sure I'm not forgetting anyone or anything, the weather, taggers, role changes, whatever, reduce minutes. So I need to spend that time to get these Saturday games right, and then the Sunday bets will follow. They'll most likely be around lunchtime tomorrow. I'll usually give an ETA in the comment, but yeah, for now, we'll get the Saturday ones out of the way. Hopefully this form changes. We've been through it before. I cannot stress that enough. That's what happens with betting. You win some, you lose some. You often lose more than you win. That's why you got to be smart about the odds. You don't have to do anything. I've been doing this for years. You always have plenty of bad weeks, but you're rewarded with good weeks. Stay the course. Don't do anything too crazy and jump ship or panic or whatever the heck. It just happens. So anyway, that's the recap for this week. I'll have the Sunday bets in the comment section, and until then, I'll see you guys next week. All right, peace.